Hey, thanks for checking out my video on the employee stock purchase plan tax calculator. I love this calculator I created. I know a lot of people visit it every single day to kind of run their calculations. And so it's a huge benefit because it allows you to quickly see the return on investment from your employee stock purchase plan. And then it also takes it a step further and actually adjusts for taxes that you pay. Because I know that's a big fear of a lot of people when they do participate in the employee stock purchase plan. They think that it's going to be taxed so much that it's not worth it. I can tell you that unless the rare occasions is if your employer just makes it very weak and it's not very meaningful. We'll talk through a couple of things why that may be the case, but we'll run through this quick example. So I'm using an example of $100,000 in income just to make it simple. And the contribution percent, this is set by the employer as far as the maximum you can put in, but I've seen it range anywhere from 1% to 15%. Again, I'm going to use just kind of even number of 10% just to make the numbers quick and easy. So 10,000 is what this individual is going to be able to do. And ironically enough, this is going to be an example for quite a handful of my clients actually that have their enrollment period coming up for the employee stock purchase plan. So that's one of the main reasons why I recorded this video too. So their discount is actually 15%, which is the highest maximum that employers allow. So again, it makes it a no-brainer to participate. To the right of that, you'll probably see that there's two different ways the discount can be applied. One is gives you an additional benefit over the other. What my clients actually have is maybe the less robust option, but it's the more predictable. So end of purchase period is actually the simplest to project out once we know what's going on. Look back provision adds an additional benefit and an additional possible way to maximize or increase that 15% discount. And the reason for that is they actually look at the lower value of that when the purchase period opens. So there's a price then, and then at the end of the period where you actually purchase the shares, there's a different price. And so what the look back provision allows is if the price was lower back when you first enrolled to start saving up to make this employee stock purchase plan, you actually receive the discount on the lower amount. So it could be dramatically beneficial if you had this ability. If you don't, I wouldn't worry about it too much, but just be aware in the future, your employer may change their plan. You'll want to keep an eye on that, or you might end up working for a different employer. And yeah, that's definitely a way to supercharge an employee stock purchase plan is to give that benefit of that look back provision. So another thing is you're going to plug in the hypothetical beginning purchase period value. It's not that relevant if you're only receiving the discount on the end of the purchase period and it doesn't have the look back, but you can still plug in that number if you want. The end period, you definitely want to make sure you do. In this example, we're using $90 and $100. So the share price on the day that they're going to be purchasing shares are worth $100 per share. Because they get that 15% discount, they're actually purchasing it for $85. So only paying $85 to get $100 worth of value. It's a pretty sweet deal because you can immediately go in there and sell the shares off. And so that reduces any potential risk of it dropping dramatically and you kind of losing value on this investment. And so you can see for these numbers that we plugged in, the actual amount of shares that they'll end up purchasing is $11,764.71. The crazy thing is, and it makes a lot of sense once you look at the math, and we'll talk through that really quick, but the return on investment is actually 17.65%. You might be saying, well, wait a minute, I thought it was a 15% discount. So why that 17.65% is the return and not to 15% is because of how it works out mathematically. You're only invested $85, so you're getting a $15 return over $85, not a $15 return over a $100 investment because you didn't pay $100, you only paid $85. So that's why mathematically you actually come out higher with the return on investment. So that's important to know. And one of the cool things about the employee stock purchase plan, we'll jump into the taxes again. An important part, one of the reasons why a lot of people ignore or kind of refuse to look into an employee stock purchase plan is they're like, oh, I have to pay more taxes. But if you're paying more taxes, it's almost always a good thing because that means that you have more income than you would have in the past. So for this example, we're using 22% federal tax bracket, 4.3%. So you can plug all these numbers in yourself. So the net income after tax, so if they sold these things immediately, they would still get $1,300.59. So the net return is 13%. So good way to potentially guarantee that you're going to get a 13% return, which there's not many investments out there where you can get that type of return. So it's important to be aware. I encourage you, if you haven't checked out the calculator, go ahead and do so. I also have a more in-depth kind of strategy guide that goes into all the crazy nooks and crannies of how different tax situations work, how different strategies work with the employee stock purchase plan. So definitely visit my website, check those things out. I'll include links and notes everywhere I possibly can.